He scared the crap out of me.
He was so scary and tall.
Oh, wow. And then my friend was like, you know, don't worry about Mr. Barry. Mr. Barry's really nice if you do your work. And I remember being like, oh, okay, like, great, I'll be buddies with him. And I was like, wait, I don't do my work.
I came in for the open house and I was pretty impressed with the art. And it turns out my mom knew Mr. Barry. Like, they had a nice little meet and greet. It was very interesting. Interesting indeed.
Yeah,
My first impression is of him, well, he was wearing a decent suit, so he was very intimidating.
He put things on the ground. First class, he had like all the army stuff and he just put it on the ground.
No, I saw him in grade 9. He was taking photos for the little cards, and I was painting, and this man I'd never met before comes and crouches behind me and takes a picture of me while I'm painting.
Being like, wow, he's really nice. He's not scary anymore.
First met Mr. Barry in grade 9 when I wanted to switch majors from band to visual arts. And I brought him my form to sign, and he goes, let's get you out of there.
The first time I ever talked to Mr. Novak was Erica was developing in the darkroom, and I've never like entered the photography room. I was like pure film major, and I was in the photography room, and like Mr. Novak said, and we started talking about cameras and stuff. And I remember that was the moment where I'm like, I need to get into digital photography.
I thought he looked like a shorter Mr. Barry, like a shorter with like slightly bigger ears.
that on like one of the open houses that there was, what's his face, the guy who was like really weird and going out with Camille. Aiden, yeah, and he wasn't wearing shoes and he had really long hair, and I thought he was like one of those like wild boys, you know, like those like feral children. I was a little confused.
Wild
boy. A wild boy. But yeah, that kind of like summed up my first experience. I was kind of like, okay.
Strongest first memory I have of art with Mr. Barry, and like in grade 10 when he gave us that incredible speech at the beginning, and we were like, holy shit, like we're gonna change the world. And we were like, you know, we're gonna change the world, like we're gonna change the world. And I remember just like walking in the hallways afterwards and being like it was crazy.
As soon as we had our first class, it was like suddenly it was like electrified. Like it was, we were making real art. Like we were finally told that we like had the capacity to be artists now, and we didn't have to wait till we were 30 and had 20 bachelor degrees.
Grade 10 in one word. Scary.
Scary?
Secrets aren't real.
Personal. Really personal.
The first class of grade 10, officially. And yeah, that was, I just remember my mind, I think we all had that. And I love the communal experience of everyone, like just knowing how great that first few weeks of class were. We were all so excited to be.
The human condition.
Save the world.
Damien Hirst. No, Anselm Kiefer. There's been a few like artists that we've idolized that have been cool. David Altmead.
Extensive, yeah, that's a good word. Terrifying, frightening, nerve-wracking, creatively awful, but in the best way possible. I don't know. That was mean. Can you not?
We're just being excited because I was making it based off of your first lecture and like to our class, and I didn't even know what to make. I just knew I wanted to make things, and that was like the start of it.
Definitely terrified of him at first, but he filmed, he eases your fear eventually in grade 10, and he becomes like a Mr. Miyagi figure, but like for art. So
And white.
yeah, it's like art has been like Karate Kid, and he is Mr. Miyagi.
Mango.
Why?
Because you gotta, there's work, and you gotta sort of get to the center. The center's hard, and there's work involved, but along the way you get to eat the sweet juices of mango, because mango tastes the best, right? So you get to experience the awesomeness that is the mango, and you also have this really hard, cool, big, what's the word, souvenir of the whole experience, which is your experience and your artwork. This the I guess nut represent or the pit represents your portfolio.
The thing that came to mind was a bookend. Like keeping
Like a
books on the bookshelf.
cornerstone. That's cute.
Yeah, it's like keeping books
What type of book?
together. Like one of those like geode ones.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like keeps the books together. And it's like, it's a bookend. Not a lot of people have a bookend, but it's pretty crucial for books.
Yeah, something along like spaghetti. Actually, yeah, probably spaghetti because it's like fancy but like spindly.
It's fancy and spindly.
Prada shoes.
Yeah, I was thinking shoes. Definitely shoes.
Meerkat
is pretty good.
Why would he be a meerkat?
I
hides.
totally, yeah.
He hides and then he like peeks his head out and
Yeah.
looks
I
around.
totally see.
Shiba Inu! Because I love Shiba Inus, they're the best. Mr. Berry's also the best. Best.
Gandalf.
Gandalf.
It was juxtaposition, juxtapose, and wasn't it like, what's that called? Like we did that thing for a really long time where it was like deadpan. It was always deadpan, like deadpan lines. Like what's deadpan? A kitchen sink, like deadpan.
He's always just so enthusiastic all the time. No matter what you need help with, he's always willing to come and help you. He's always so supportive, and he's not afraid to tell you if it sucks. That's what I love the most, is he's so honest all the time. You'll ask him like, is this good? And he'll say yes or no, or I like that, or I don't like that, or you need to change this. And he's just such a good teacher and such a good person.
If Mr. Novak were a pair of pants, he would be some nice chinos.
Well, I think my favorite thing about Mr. Novak is whether it's good or it's bad or what, he always has the same tone of voice. He always comes and he always goes, well, that's great. That's really good. That's not very good. That's really, that's okay. I like that. But he doesn't change it. It's just always the same. You know, it's always like, yeah, that's good. And I remember at the beginning when I was, I'm used to, I'm not really used to that. I was like, do you really think it's good? Do you, like, is that like, are you just like, am I just a bad photographer? But I don't know. I got used to it pretty quick. I think it's funny because I mean, even when we're like making jokes, and he laughs, he's always like, haha, that's good. It's always the same.
I feel like he is probably one of two people responsible for 99% of my success.
Yeah, Mr. Novak, if you're watching this, which you probably will be at some point, thank you so much. I mean, I know I always thank you, and I think you kind of get annoyed at me for thanking you all the time, but I mean, you kind of inspired me to become a photographer, and that's what I'm going to do now, and that means so much to me because you allowed me to figure out what I wanted to do, and I guess held, what's the word? You're gonna edit this out. Inspired me. No.
Notion.
Yes, notion. That's the word. What's the word?
Encouraged?
Encouraged.
Yeah.
You encouraged me, and that means a lot. And you helped me out a lot. So you're the man.
I'm gonna leave
Don't eat any nuts, Mr. Novak. No nuts. Don't eat any. That would be bad.
Miss Arsenault was the best supply teacher ever. She was like the best art teacher. I love you, Miss Arsenault.
Oh wait, can I
Thank
go
you.
say something?
Yeah.
But Miss Arsenault, you're my girl.
Yeah.
We love you. We love Miss Arsenault. Thank you for saving us from Mr. Bell last year.
Yes.
That was so good.
And also being the best this year.
Love you.
much.
I mean, it's so nice. Like,
Yeah.
she's such a nice person and like a really good teacher. Like, you should teach art full time because you would be really great at it. And I love how you help us. That's so nice. Help us put up our stuff and take down our stuff, and just like you always have input and insight into our work that is like both helpful and illuminating and good. Very nice. Stay forever.
I feel like you're like one of the few people, like in this school, even, well, I guess teachers, yeah, like, who's actually seems really excited to see you when you're all, like, I'll be like, oh, hi, and she's like, oh my gosh, hey, like, and that's just, like, it feels really nice, especially, like, sometimes when you're not feeling that great coming in here, or, like, you don't feel, like, approachable because you've got that face on or something, but you always seem, like, super stoked about everyone being there, and that's, like, really lovely.
Bear.
Got Bear and M Bear. Barry Underwood. Drew Barrymore. Bear.
Okay, say one. That one painting that Mr. Berry kept telling me to just abandon.
Suburban birthday party.
No. Oh yeah, that one. I've done a lot of bad paintings actually. I need to specify. But like Mr. Berry would always politely tell me, you know, you should probably just leave this, move on to something else.
I remember in 10th grade, Scott, myself, and Eli got put in a group to do the this art project that we had to make like costumes for our showcase, and everyone else I remember was like amazing. Someone made this like bodysuit out of clothespins or safety pins, and what we did, we got like these styrofoam balls that someone had brought from Arts Junction, and we shredded paper, and we just paper mache'd like bits of shredded newspaper onto these styrofoam balls, and then we stuck them on this like curly piece of wire. It was so bad, and I'm pretty sure we ended up getting like an 80% on the project anyways. But for our showcase, like dancers were supposed to wear them or something, but ours just like kind of hung in the foyer, and I'm pretty sure everyone thought it was just like complete trash. And that was the beginning of bullshitting art 101.
Was that little like house thing that I made that was like the walls were bars. And it was like made out of like gesso, but it was really old, and I like slathered it on, and like it made it out of like weird like clay. I like molded it, and it was kind of cool, like kind of a cool idea, but it like looked really weird. It was cool because I liked the critique, but like the piece was like really tiny and kind of ugly. All like mold. Yeah, it was nasty, but
Or like
When I made art out of broken pieces of vinyl records.
Lungs.
I bought like $13 worth of like good records, because I went to the record store and I bought like the bargain records, which were still like $5 a record, which is a lot to buy, because I had to buy a lot of them, and because I didn't want the guy to think that I had bad taste in music, because I was super self-conscious because I was 14. So I bought like the English Beat, and then I broke them all and made like this hot glue abomination with them.
I remember making the maquettes and having a critique of my little wolf heads and being really excited about that, and I find it funny that all of my work is still super reminiscent of that.
Our performance art project in grade 10, grade 11, and it's where Kate and Luke and I dismantled imaginary bats. It was so bad. Oh my god. I'm most proud of that one because it was so bad.
I filled one sketchbook with charcoal drawings, and I was like, I'm an artist.
Mr. Novak. Mr. Novak was like one of the first art teachers that was like, this is good, and I've never had that ever. Like, the film teachers kind of say that in their own like indirect ways of like, you need to fix this, it would be good. Mr. Novak was like, I like this, and I was like,
Simply his willingness to let us follow our own paths, but push us along the way. It's like, just I think it's a really great thing in terms of some kids will come into art. I mean, visual art, and they'll be writers rather than artists. They're more interested in sort of writing, and he'll say, okay, that's cool, just write. And if you have something that you love, or even if you're not even going to arts, like, he still encourages you, he still wants to sort of help you, and I think that's the thing that separates him from a lot of other people. That I've come across through an education, simply that at the end of the day, he really does just want, the kid to succeed no matter what.
Very dedicated. for sure, and he's also very knowledgeable. Like, I trust that he knows what he's doing with everything that I will ask him.
He's always there, even when you can't find him.
Thank you to Mr. Berry for being the bomb and like getting all metaphysical with us, dropping ideas on the daily.
For being patient with us when we like didn't hand in shit.
Yeah.
And for not like completely ripping us apart, instead being like, it's okay, you know, like we had a scheduled meeting, but like who cares about that?
He dropped a tough love on us, for sure.
Art's my entire life now because of Mr. Berry in this program.
I probably would have done nothing ever and like sat in my basement watching anime for the rest of my life. Like I did when I was 12 years old if Mr. Berry didn't like help me make art.
Thank you for being super cool and having an awesome class and talking to us and interacting with us as if we're not all idiots. And yeah.
Yeah, you made us more than better artists. You made us better people.
I don't know how, it's hard to tell what you teach yourself and what other people teach you, but I do know that Mr. Berry taught me how to like teach myself those things.
I am eternally grateful for you making me into a real person instead of little sheep that follows the herd. Yeah.
I want to thank Mr. Berry for getting up every day and coming to school and just being with us. That kind of like, just like the devotion and passion that he has for what he does is so admirable, and he has honestly been like such an amazing person to talk to and learn from these past, I guess, 3 years. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, I could just thank him for everything that he's done with us. It hasn't always been easy for him, and he needs to know how much like I appreciate that he does what he does.
Selflessness, for sure. Just like constantly bouncing around, talking to everyone and being there for everyone and putting everyone's needs before his own, at least like in this environment, like from what I've seen. It's like really remarkable how someone can be like putting so much into something and not expecting anything back except for the experience of being there. And that's what's exciting for me as well, is I don't know if being an artist is the best thing for me, but I know it's the best thing I can do for other people. And that's another thing that Mr. Berry taught us from day one.
Thank you, like sincerely, like
I'm gonna move all
from
of these
the
backpacks.
very depths of my soul, like just thank you so much for everything.
Every time someone's visiting, they always walk in on us dropping the booty.
When the first day that Neil was here, so we were in the art room. And we were like crumping to what?
Girlicious.
Like, it was Sean Paul. And yeah, and we're like not a, just like me and Alessia and Hannah, and then Neil walks in with Mr. Berry and he's like showing him around. And we all just like crumb. We all just stop and look at them, and he just goes, well, at least it's honest. And walks away.
I mean, I'm probably gonna die really young because I often developed film during lunch, and often I would eat my lunch while I was developing my film. And a couple of times I was eating mayonnaise coleslaw because I used to have coleslaw a lot, and I spilled some developer on it, and I looked at it, and I mean the coleslaw, it wasn't like the creamy kind of coleslaw, it was like the vinegar coleslaw. So I looked at it and I was like, okay, well, what am I gonna do? And I kind of looked at it and like it still smelled like vinegar, so I was like, guess this will be fine to eat. And then I did it a couple more times, and now I think I might die.
I mean, they're not here right now, but I remember this one distinct moment, I don't know if they do, with Hannah and Alessia. we were sitting in the art room, like Miss Raymond's room, and we were like just talking about whatever. Like it was totally like this stupid grade 9 conversation. And then Sebastian Elborn comes in, and we literally all changed the conversation to act like to seem cool. Like we started talking about like music, like punks. It was really stupid.
Last year, Lorena, when Lorena spilled odorless mineral spirit all over the floor in Mr. Berry's room.
And Mr. Berry was pretty calm about it. He kind of just opened up the windows and then told us that
Aired it out.
That we're gonna die, but like it's cool.
But we
because
can't
we can't
smell
smell
it,
it.
yeah.
So that's what I've learned from art.
Mr. Very. Okay, when we went to the Mike Alexier show,
That was so good.
we were there with our friend Jasmine and Rachel. Oh yeah, Rachel was there. I forgot. Yeah, of course you were there. I have a picture of you at that show. And we saw Mr. Very.
That was the happiest I've ever seen Mr. Berry.
Yeah, we were like,
He was like skipping around.
He was like a
velvet
little-
blazer, being like, "Here, there's someone else important we need you to meet."
he's like skipping like a kid on Christmas.
Yeah.
Like, come here, let me show you. It's like Willy Wonka. Like,
yeah.
so cute.
Modern dance, go.
I have back problems now.
Also, Mr. Very, excellent wingman. Me and Daryl are just much closer to becoming an
Set up for the future. Mr. Very is such an incredible human being. I have never met someone so dedicated, so supportive. These are all really cliche answers. And just so willing to be your friend or just see you as an equal human being. Like that was the first time that ever happened to me in the education system, and it was amazing. And I knew that I could always rely on him. And he just really got me excited about art. And it was an incredible feeling. He's always taking care of us. Since the first day of grade 10, even in grade 9, I'm sure for some of us, he was always helping us out. He always does so much for us, like regardless of what's going on in his own life, and like I can't even imagine sacrificing so much for us all the time. And we really, really appreciate it. Mr. Very changed my life for sure. And I always liked art, but I wasn't really sure where I was going with it, and now I can like rest assured that I am doing the right thing.
I think that the 4 years, I definitely feel more like an artist now than when I started. And I feel a lot more optimistic about my path with art. And I definitely feel more confident in my abilities and my willingness to like branch out and try new things with art, and I feel definitely really optimistic and hopeful for myself and grateful.
I hope I see you again really soon. I don't hope that we can continue helping each other out as artists and as people, and all the thank yous go to you.
It's so creepy. We will be in Toronto, so you can call us up and we'll take you for dumplings.
And whenever I feel like I should be finished a painting, I probably am finished a painting. Painting is always finished before you think it is, Mr. Ray. And I won't have you there to tell me, but I'll have you in the back of my head telling me that the painting's done before I think it's done. And I won't overwork it.
I know you're probably kind of sad because like this is the end of our time here, but I'm gonna sound like such a tool when I say this, but I mean it. That it'll always be the beginning because we all have the capacity to make art, and we'll always, like our experiences here will always tie back to that. It will never be moved. There you go. Thank you. God bless America.
Hey, Papi. I'm talking to Daryl now. Hey, Papi. Hey, Papi. Hey, amo.
That's it?
I just love to look at you. Tell me how to grind him into a fine. Just I want to grind you into a fine artisanal pepper. Ew! There will be nothing left but a beard. In the summertime, when the weather.
Okay, I'm going. Just do it. Oh.
We made it split it a little bit. We're so close. Are you ready? We're so dumb.
That didn't work. That didn't work.